Hey everyone, and welcome to Quickscope Podcast, brought to you by Higher Passion Entertainment. We're your hosts, Eric, Serge, and Josh, and we're here to talk about our passion, video games. We're so excited to have you guys today. Right now, we just started summer, and we're just coming off Summer Games Fest, and there's so many games announced that honestly, we're really excited for a lot of these games. So we're gonna jump into that topic really soon, but before we get there, I want to talk about streaming for a little bit because we recently got a big record that was broken, and it's the record for most concurrent viewers, and this was set by Ibai, and with a viewing record on Twitch of 3.3 million viewers. I think that is crazy beyond belief, man. What do you guys think? This blew my mind. 3.3 million.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, what was the record before? I don't even remember what was.
The record
I mean, I
before was like
know.
2 million, two point something, and that was by the Gref
By
Ref.
Greg, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think and it's crazy because the original record that was there was he was opening, I think, Fortnite packs. Or no, he was it was his skin. He was showing off the skin that he has in game. And it was the first time they were gonna show it, and he got to show it on his stream for Fortnite. And so that was a big deal. But the fact that Ibai broke the record doing a boxing stream, like he wasn't even playing a game. I know, like, yeah, we're a gaming podcast, but still, that's on Twitch, and that's a big deal. I think it was like the second like event boxing match that he was streaming, and it is crazy. That's what got people to come in and really watch him.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of sports are are supreme, reign supreme. So if
Oh
it's a
yeah,
sporting event, it's gonna make big numbers. And I mean, Twitch has never really been just gaming, right? So people kind of put gaming and Twitch together, but Twitch just TV, it was never really just about gaming. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see that a sporting event could do so well on there. I think maybe it's the future. Maybe it'll be just streamed on Twitch, streamed on different platforms. So
yeah.
instead of watching it on TV, national TV, just
Yeah.
stream it online.
I mean, I have seen a couple streams on Twitch that are sponsored by. I think Tim the Tampa Man got sponsored by the Cowboys to do a couple of their games during the
Yeah,
NFL
that's how it does a
season,
lot.
and that was really cool to see. I think I saw Nick Merckx doing a few too, and yeah, so it's becoming more and more common for them to get the rights to stream these events on their given platforms. And honestly, as a fan of sports myself, it makes perfect sense. Like if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you know the amount of viewers that Tim the Tatman gets, you're gonna be like, yeah, you have the rights to stream this on to all of your followers and subscribers. Like it's gonna make sense to it's really good marketing. And then Ibai to do this, and not only to do this, but to do this on a Spanish stream. Like he's from Spain. For those that don't know, he was really big in League of Legends. He did a couple different leagues, and then he became a shoutcaster for League of Legends for major events too. And now he just does variety streaming. Like if you check out his YouTube channel, it's like all kinds of stuff. He's doing like funny challenges on stream, and recently he's gotten really popular having famous people on stream and just like having really normal conversations with them. Like I think I saw he had like Ed Sheeran on there, he had Bad Bunny on there, and he's just getting to this level where he's just a variety streamer, and so many people are just watching him for the entertainment value, really. And then just going the next level, doing this boxing stream and getting 3.3 million viewers at one time on there. Like even Twitch like posted it online, and they're like, congratulations, like this is the most viewers for a single stream that we've ever had. And yeah, so it was a really big deal.
Yeah, and I've been following him for a while. He's done
Yeah.
like events like that before. I think he did like balloon one before,
Oh yeah,
from
the
what I
the
remember.
balloon World Cup or whatever.
Yeah, the Balloon World Cup. So yeah, he's very like, how do you say? He's a very unique streamer. He's out of the box. So that's why I think a lot of people tune into him to see what he's gonna do next. Because I follow him too.
Yeah.
So he was in on that whole like when they did that, when they're posting different. while they're getting the community like to post like their what do you call it?
Oh, champs.
Like PogChamp, like their own emotes, like on this website, and it
Mm.
was like live, and Ibai and XQC were doing it, and like they were teaming up to like destroy other people's stuff. So, I mean, Ibai he's very unique and
Yeah.
yeah, and like you said, he's a Spanish streamer,
Yeah.
and
So
yeah.
obviously
He's a
there's a
Spanish
little
Scourge JD,
yeah.
actually.
Oh yeah. That's a good comparison. I
Yeah.
think it's really cool to see that too coming from a Spanish streamer because I feel maybe it's because we're in the Americas. A lot of the streaming I see come through is usually English streams, but you will see like at the top of Twitch a lot of times there's different languages that are being streamed, and I'll go through the Spanish ones just because I speak Spanish and like sometimes I just want to hear that and it's really interesting to see a Spanish streamer really make it that big. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really almost like proud that he was able to do that. Um, and for a boxing stream, I think it's really cool. It's kind of just showing the way that a lot of these streams, or even just Twitch in general, where they're headed, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, and like I said, it benefits both Twitch and these companies, the NFL, these businesses. They need to they're gonna have to adapt. And, the last ones adapting are gonna be the ones that are probably gonna die. So, you gotta be in the forefront. Like I said, the NFL, boxing, a lot of people understand that the money is in the youth. So, and where's the youth? The youth is on Twitch, on YouTube, on different platforms like that, Instagram, social media. If you're not on there, you're not gonna do good in the future. So, streaming, investing in the streaming, and giving them the rights to those events, I think it's just gonna be good for them.
Yeah, definitely. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, if you haven't seen him, check him out. I think he puts a lot of stuff on YouTube too. This boxing event that he just did is already up on YouTube. Last I checked, they had like 4 million views already on YouTube also.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
yeah, and it's dope to see. Like I said, they're not taking that down. They're giving them the rights because just let people see.
yep,
People are gonna gain access to stuff like that.
yep, definitely. All right, and now we can get into our main topic. We're talking Summer Games Fest, and man, there's so many crazy games that we've seen during just all the different showings for Summer Games Fest. A lot of indie games. I'm happy we didn't get too many sequels or or remakes.
Yeah,
I get more excited for the indie games for the original games, just because I want to try out something new. I've seen a lot of people online, especially on Twitter, just kind of complaining about the state of gaming right now, and how everything is either a sequel or we got the same old battle royales, and people are like itching for something fresh. And I'm hoping that maybe one of these games that we're gonna talk about here today, will be that fresh take on something new, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
to
Okay.
get started, I was actually going to start with one of the first games that they showed at Summer Games Fest was Aliens Dark Descent. I thought it looked pretty cool. What do you guys think?
I'm not really too excited about it just because it's like it looks like a top down like game, so
Yeah,
it's not like a first person or third person. It's you're looking at from the top, and
yeah.
usually those games I'm like sometimes I'll play them, but they lose my interest like really fast.
Okay.
That makes sense, but yeah, but the good thing it's a four-player co-op, so well,
Yes.
that's what it looks like. They didn't really release too much information on it, but I just got that sense from the previews.
Yeah, definitely looks like a team type game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too interested in it. Like the trailer, the beginning trailer was really nice, but then when they went to that top down view, I was like, yeah. I mean that trailer was pretty great. So I mean, if it was something like that, actual story mode, co-op, whatever it is, that top down, I'm not really feeling it with Alien too.
That's true. So I'm actually a fan of like games like XCOM 2,
Yeah,
these types of games. Even like the Mario's take on it, Mario Rabbids, where
yeah,
you and it's all the strategy involved. Maybe it's just because I'm getting old. I'm getting more into strategy games. I can't do a lot of the first person shooters like I used to play CS:GO, but man, I'm not that I don't have the reaction anymore. Like my homies will play Valorant, and I'll just like, nah, I'm gonna go over here and play TFT, and I'll just watch you guys play on Discord, and I'll just talk to you guys, because yeah, I feel myself getting heated a lot of time playing those games now. So I think a game like this kind of draws me as more of a chill, like laid back game, what it looks like, and it's still a shooter in the sense. I'm a fan of the Alien franchise. Historically, video games based off of movie franchises don't really do well, aren't that great. But I think this might be kind of an exception just because it looks like they're actually paying attention to the gameplay, what they're doing. They're not just trying to make money off of the movie that's going to come out soon, I think. So I'm hoping it'll be good. I will give it a shot just because I'm really into those types of games. So yeah, another game that came out that we saw for the first time. Actually, just I missed it during Games Fest. I just looked at it right now because Serge told me about it. Was a Witchfire. Serge, why don't you tell us what you thought about Witchfire?
I don't know, man. It just caught my eye. It was like a I don't even know how to explain it. Almost like a mystery, sci-fi, like horror game. Almost. I don't even know. It was kind of like Destiny in a sense, but it had like a weird side swipe. The mobility was a little different.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's caught my eye. It was almost like a MP40 looking gun that just um, I don't know, it really caught my eye. It just looked interesting. It's not something that I'd probably play more than once from what it looks like. It's something that I like to, give it one good run through.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see more of it. I want to see what else they have to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I saw the game, I thought it was gonna be like an Avowed announcement, so it gave me that type of vibe from the first trailer that I saw from Avowed.
were
But yeah,
you
it
were
did
you disappointed that it wasn't?
a little, a little bit. But I mean, I did like the trailer because I thought it was gonna be like Avowed. But then when I started seeing it, I'm like, oh wait, this isn't Avowed.
Yeah.
But the graphics they do look insane. Like Serge said, it's like super sci-fi. It reminded me like a Doom kind of.
Yeah,
Uh, kind of like yeah. How do you say it? I forgot the word,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
just
So it's
the
taking
style of the game, man.
it's like a fantasy shooter, and I know we've seen games like this before. I think it was really cool to see how they were like the main character you were playing at was using like spells or stuff with his left hand and then shooting with the right hand.
Yeah,
It gave me thematically, it gave me very much like Diablo vibes, or like you guys said, like Doom, where you have these demons that you're trying to kill. So from that sense, it looked really cool. It looked like almost like you were like landing on different places and trying to scavenge for something. It looked like there's some bosses too. So, yeah, just the gameplay looked very high energy, very quick pace. I don't know if there'll be a multiplayer associated with it, but like Serge said, if it's just like a single player, like there's a campaign, it might be worth like just playing through it once. Like I really like those types of like fantasy games, and especially when it comes to like gunplay, I like when they switch it up a bit. So it looks like you can do a combination of like some magic powers with guns, and hopefully it'll expand more past that. But overall, yeah, just from the quick like 2 minutes that I saw of it,
yeah,
I think it was pretty cool.
yeah. Right. It's kind of like a demon slaying Van Helsing, I guess is what I'd
Van
say.
Helsing, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's like a Van Helsing, but I didn't want to say Van Helsing because it's not vampires, but that gave me that vibe,
yeah.
like that. Yeah, yeah. I'm excited.
I
Just
don't
need
know if
more.
there was a good Van Helsing game though, was there?
No,
not
So
which
that I
is
maybe,
remember.
kind of sad. Yeah,
yeah,
but I love Van Helsing, so I think the storyline for Van Helsing is great.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what we get from that one. Next thing that was up there was High Water. That one looked, I don't know, that one looked weird to me. Do you guys think it looked cool?
I mean, it
I
was
thought it looked cool.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it caught my eye for sure.
like the art
Um,
style.
the art style, yeah, like the graphics were like you said, like Josh said, the art style just really reminded me of kind of a cartoon, but not fully there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was a little different, the art style, which I think caught a couple people's eyes. But you really don't know what the game's about.
Yeah,
Obviously, like the water is high, but but yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what they show, like what the game's about.
yeah.
Obviously, I think it's gonna be like a story-driven game, like a first person. like it's not gonna be co-op, I think so. But
No,
it looks interesting.
I thought it was Raft for a second.
a raft. Yeah.
Yeah.
With High Water, I think it's it's definitely an indie game. I think a lot of variety streamers will probably try it out, and I don't think I'm gonna get it when it comes out. I'm just gonna wait to see someone else do a playthrough, or and if it hits, then I'll give it a shot. Not my type of game necessarily, but I agree. The art style looked really unique. It looked really interesting. It definitely gives the indie vibe. So if you're into that stuff, maybe check out High Water. Um, Up next, I want to talk about Goat Simulator. Dude, this game looked nuts. Um, and you know, with like most simulators, you have to really like those types of games to play. But this one looked like just the intro to it was crazy, right?
Yeah, everyone thought I think it was like Dead Island when it was
Yeah.
because it set it off like the same way as the Dead Island trailer. So they're kind of like a meme game.
Yeah,
Like they poke fun at different games. So that's how I like Goat. Well, I played Goats the first Goat Simulator, so
yeah. And then this one,
yeah.
like they straight up jetpacks and flying around. I was like, oh man, of course. Like this is definitely gonna be a game that you're just gonna play and have a lot of fun with, and it's just gonna be like a dumb game to just go ahead and play and just waste time on just because it's fun.
Yeah, and I like that they called it Goat Simulator 3, so because there's not even a second one. So they
Uh,
don't they're again that they don't really take themselves seriously, and that's why people like Goat Simulator.
yeah, man.
So
It's
yeah.
like you said, it's a super memey game. And definitely, I could definitely see someone like XQC like playing this game on his stream and just being
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
People are
But
gonna be playing that when it comes out.
yeah, right.
Yep. Everyone played the first one when it came out, and it was
Is it?
fun. It's a good like stream for like it's not like a good like long-term stream, but like maybe one or
Yeah.
two streams of it. So
For Goat Simulator for the first one, was there any multiplayer aspect to it?
yeah,
There
you
was.
can.
Okay.
Yes, I think they added it like later on,
Okay.
but yeah, they poked fun at games. They have Flappy Bird in there, so yeah, it's a fun game.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Looking
The ad
forward.
was great. I thought I was like looking at I was looking at my headphones. I was like, is it off or what's going on here? There was no noise for a second. Yeah. Yeah. It looks fun for sure.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting when games don't take themselves too seriously, and then they come out with something like this, and it really catches people's attention. Like out of all the indie games in this list, I think that one caught my attention the most, and I literally just laughed out loud, like just sitting there watching that trailer. I was like, of course they did that. Uh,
And see that's the smart thing about it. You know, them. They're you said they're not taking themselves seriously. They understand they're not going to be this big old game. They're like at the time filler, right? So they're a game that you're going to play in between games. You know
yeah,
that you normally play. So you know and they're okay being that. So make it fun, and you know understand your audience.
yeah, true, makes sense. Um, the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and I might spend some time on this one, is the Midnight Suns. Um, I want to get your guys' thoughts on it first before I go into my spiel, my thing with it.
I believe you're gonna like this game because, like you said, you're into strategy,
Yep.
and it gave me a vibe of like XCOM, and then like that one game that you mentioned, like Slay the Spire, like you have cards
Yep.
that you have to use. So I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting, but um, I I don't know if I'm like excited about it, but it looks interesting at least. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. I was not my style of play, but you know, like I said, yeah, I think you'd like it for sure. I think this is something that catches your eye.
Yeah. So when it comes to Midnight Suns, when it comes to a lot of superhero games, I tend to not really like super strategy specific games. Like I really want like Spider-Man or like Miles Morales
Yeah.
games. Like I want to feel like Spider-Man and fly around and do all those things. And it was kind of disappointing actually to see Midnight Suns is just gonna be an XCOM like game, which we should have seen coming. It's made by the same people who made XCOM 2, and it was slightly disappointing to see that it's also like card based RPG style system. Just because we saw an RPG style system with Avengers, and that one like tanked, and it did so bad. and like there's like upgrades involved and all that, and it just turned people off so quickly. And there are upgrades involved with Midnight Suns. Like it's confirmed there's upgrades involved. There's like upgrade to cards that are involved that you get to play. Now the disappointment there is because I don't think a lot of people is what a lot of people expected, and I don't think a lot of people are gonna have as much fun with it now as they expected to have fun with it. But I myself personally am probably going to enjoy this game just because it's a combination of that of XCOM and then a card type game, which I love playing card games. Like I play Hearthstone, I play Auto Battlers, I play like you mentioned, Slay the Spire is probably one of my top indie games ever at this point, and I've played that through many times. So having that type of attack based system based off cards that you draw from a deck, I think is really cool. I think it involves a lot of strategy to play through. There's also like a almost like a friendship meter involved, where like you get to grow your relationship with different people on the Midnight Suns,
There's
and
like a main hub.
yeah, and then that way like it actually improves the like chemistry between certain characters. And it sounds like they're also gonna be updating the roster as the game goes, as the game progresses. So there's supposed to be one character actually that they haven't announced yet, and it's gonna
Yep.
be announced on release. So
Yep. People said when they saw the trailers that they were trying to like find out clues. Like people were saying like, oh, Deadpool is gonna
Deadpool.
come out.
Yeah. So I
So
mean, in the comic books, when it comes to the comics, I mean, you guys know I'm on the Heroes and Mutants podcast too, where we talk about superheroes. The I know a lot of people were excited about this because Midnight Suns have been teased. Also, well, not teased. Like a lot of people have been talking about Midnight Suns coming to the MCU, and especially that now that we're having Blade, we have the Black Knight, we have Doctor Strange. Like a lot of the pieces are already coming together to get the Midnight Suns on the big screen. And then they announced this Midnight Suns game, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like how is it gonna relate? Because when the Avengers game came out, it actually they took a lot from the movies, and like a lot of the movies, like skins and like uniforms, were actually like purchasable in the game, or you can find them in game and put them on your character. So there was that aspect to it, and there is like skins or like uniforms that you can upgrade in Midnight Suns too. So I think there that a lot of hype right now is around that, around the fact that you you can kind of mimic what's happening right in the MCU. And so because of that, I feel like people might get disappointed again because they go to play this game and they're expecting something like a beat 'em up style game, like the Arkham series, even like the Batman series or the Spider-Man series. Like they're expecting to be playing these characters and just beating up all the bad guys, but instead they're gonna get this like hyper strategic game that they might just lose interest in within like the first hour of playing.
correct.
So especially if
Or
you
it could be
get
the
people that aren't like big gamers, right?
yeah, or it could be the opposite. Maybe it's what it's missing. A lot of the superhero games,
Yeah,
besides like you said, like Miles Morales and maybe Batman, a few others, there hasn't really been too many, I guess, big video games. Maybe this fits the style of some people. Maybe it creates a new wave of
yeah.
type of games for superheroes.
I hope
Probably
so.
move,
I think it'd
they'll
be
probably
cool.
move it to mobile as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah,
mean, it'll be easy. So
yeah,
Yeah, it's an easy transition.
yeah. So I think that would be really interesting. But yeah, I'm excited for the game. I'm very hopeful for the game. Um, and I mean, aside from that, there's like other Marvel games that are always coming out, and there's the new actual Marvel card game that's coming out that's made by some ex Hearthstone developers called Marvel Snap, and I think they're in beta right now. I actually applied to get beta access when it comes to iOS, so I'll be streaming that on our Twitch channel. But yeah, so Marvel Snap, and I think that's gonna get a lot of people to kind of look at like the card game aspect of heroes, just because there's such a big roster of superheroes in general. I think people might maybe, like you said, just because they're interested in superheroes, maybe they'll give some of these games a shot, and hopefully they'll enjoy it. But
I think
yeah,
as long as
oh
they keep providing content,
yeah,
that's what you have to just do. Just keep providing content and
yeah,
nonstop. That's
yeah. I think that was
that's
one
the
of
way
the
you're gonna keep
problems
people interested.
with Marvel's Avengers, because they kind of released the game. I played through the campaign. It was actually a pretty solid story, solid campaign. And then they were like releasing like missions to go and do, but they were all just like reskins of old missions. It was the same thing over and over again, the same maps, and it got old very quick. So that's what
That's
a lot
it's
of
like
people.
lazy content right there.
Yeah, it was lazy
Yeah,
content. So
Yeah.
hopefully we get like actual good content from
yeah,
Midnight Suns, and hopefully we get a good story because I think they did say that the story they're going to use for the video game isn't, they're not copying a story from comic books, so they're doing something original. So it'll be interesting to see. Also, there's going to be like an original character, like your own avatar that you control. It's called like the Hunter or something. Yeah, the Hunter. Um, and you get to customize that hero however you want. So yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool, and hopefully we hear more about it soon. But I mean, we already have gameplay, so there's not a lot more we need to hear about it. I just want to see the game in
Right.
action already, right? Kind of in the same vein of superhero games. Another game that showed up during Summer Games Fest was Gotham Knights, and we finally actually got some solid gameplay. I think they showed both Red Hood and Nightwing, and yeah, I think it was interesting. What do you guys think?
yeah. I found it interesting. Like I said, that's a little more normal style of gameplay that we're
Yeah,
thinking of, but it looks good. It's a little different. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
yeah, I think people thought they were gonna see a little bit more than them focusing on a character. Since that
yeah,
they already knew was gonna be in the game.
yeah,
But I mean other than that, I mean it does look interesting, but hopefully they don't mess it up because I know when they showed it earlier on, people were like, "Oh no."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So but we'll see how it comes out. I know it's gonna do well when it first comes out because people are gonna wanna play it.
yeah,
So, but hopefully it can um be like long lasting. So it all depends on like the extra content that they release after the game.
yeah.
Same with other games. So
Yeah, I think with Gotham Knights, the gameplay looks solid. It feels like a Batman game without Batman really showing up.
right.
And the yeah, like the action really looked just how like the Arkham series games that we played through. It looked like that. It looked a little smoother actually. I like that there's brand new characters, so they all have different move sets. So it's almost like you have this opportunity to learn and upgrade each character individually, and then you can play through the game several times with different characters. So that aspect of it is really unique, and I really enjoy that. So I'm hoping to start playing through. I'm hoping there's also a co-op mechanic. I think there is, where you can play as one character, and other people you can play with online can be some of the other characters, and you can go through missions together. Uh, and yeah, I like how there's almost like ultimates, like ults that you can do together to like knock out certain people. They showed Red Hood and Nightwing working together, which I think is really funny, especially because of their chemistry and in the comic books isn't too good. So hearing their like banter back and forth is very reminiscent of how the characters actually are in the comic books. So I feel like this game in particular, Gotham Knights, is really gonna give a lot of fan service. Much in the same vein as the Arkham series did, where there's a lot of little details and like hints and like even like little papers that you can pick up and read that really call back to certain comic books and really were meant for the fans. I think we're gonna see a lot of that here too. And hopefully it'll get some people reading the comic books again, really looking into these characters, because I know a lot of people know who Batman is, but maybe not a lot of people know who Red Hood is, right? They don't know where he came from. They don't know that he was a Robin. They don't know why he uses guns. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting to see people play this game, because a lot of the same people that played the Arkham games are gonna play these, just because they were so good. And honestly, from the gameplay that I saw, I think they're doing that series justice right now. They're going along the same lines. I
yeah,
know it's separate from the games, from the Arkham games. Is not the same storyline, especially because at the beginning of this one, Batman dies. That's the whole point. So the whole Bat family has to come together. But I think it's still in the same vein, and they're kind of playing off that the Arkham games a little more.
Some task to follow that up, but hopefully they can
Yeah.
do it.
So actually, that Suicide Squad game that we talked about before, that's
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
same universe as the Arkham games. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
but yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. Um, Up next, oh, this is actually the first sequel that I have on here. Is the new Cuphead game. So Cuphead is a standard, man. Like if you haven't played Cuphead, that platformer game, like you need to get on and play it because it's such a good game.
definitely.
Yeah, with the old style graphics,
Yep.
like cartoon graphics,
Yeah,
it's really good. So
it's
it's a hard game, but it's fun.
yeah, it's really hard. And it's so unique. It's like you mentioned, like the old style, it looks like an old timey cartoon, but still it's such a smooth game, right? Like playing through the different levels, the different puzzles you have to figure out. Like it's a very well made game. The first Cuphead, right? And I think this one just feels like the same thing. I don't think anything like really stood out about this game other than it's the sequel, right?
I think it's DLC, like the
Yeah, the DLC.
final DLC.
Is the final DLC? Okay.
Well, they call it
Mhm.
like the final something to make it seem like it's the final like DLC, and maybe they'll make Cuphead too after. But I know people like Cuphead, so they're gonna get it. So
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, definitely check that out. If you haven't played Cuphead, jump on it now. uh Next game I want to talk about was Midnight Fight Express. This looked like a standard beat 'em up type game, but I don't know. It caught my eye for some reason.
yeah, it kind of like reminded me of Hotline Miami, like that top down where you're
Yeah.
just not the graphic wise, but just like the gameplay wise, where you're just going, just beating up people, trying to go to the level really fast.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't know if it's gonna be like Hotline Miami, like where you get hit once, like you're dead kind of thing. So it doesn't seem like that, but but yeah,
That would be
um,
so hard.
but I know this game. I think it's gonna release soon in August, and I think it got announced like like in 2020. So it's been in development for a while.
Okay.
I think
So
they said it was made by one person or something, or it was like being worked on by a small group. Yeah, so
yeah, so
yeah, it looks cool though.
so yeah, it does look interesting. Like it's a top down view again, but I don't mind those games too much. So
Yeah, agreed. Another beat 'em up game that actually already came out and has gotten the attention of a lot of people lately is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, Shredder Revenge. We
Yeah,
talked about this one briefly on the Heroes and Mutants podcast, just because obviously TMNT comes from comic books. Um, but man, this game's really good. Like, it's a solid game, and it's so like nostalgic, even, right? Um,
mhm.
yeah.
makes you feel like
What
you're
do you guys
playing in
think
the
about the
arcade.
gameplay? What was that?
Makes you feel
Yeah,
like you're playing in the arcades. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's like
it
the
brings you
arcade
back
game.
to
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
the arcade game. It's co-op, so I mean you can play online with other people. Um, I I haven't played it too much. I don't know if there's like a PvP mode, but I know it's like up to 6 players co-op.
yeah.
So um, but
Y-
yeah, I mean it. I know it's on Game Pass as well. So I mean, if you have Xbox and you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can download it for free too.
you know.
Yeah,
It's a
dude.
good pick.
It's crazy. So yeah, so it's 6 player game. You can play online co-op or just couch co-op, and it's really cool to see how they like took the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games that you played in the arcades, and they just made it new. And what they did with it too, I know if you play like simulators of those older games, it's it's very much reminiscent of the arcade, and like the whole point of those arcade games was to get you to keep putting in money, right? So it was easier to die. It was like the levels were made purposely harder, and the game itself was actually pretty short. I don't know if you remember playing it in the arcade. Like you can really beat that game
Yeah.
maybe in like 30 minutes or so,
Yeah,
and even
I,
faster if you've like played it so many times.
yeah,
And I feel like this game kind of knew what it was coming from, but also knew it was making this game for console, so it doesn't feel like it's trying to like kill you so quickly. and so you can like feed in money because it's not doing that anymore. I think the different like ultimates that they were showing in game were really fun. A lot of the action itself is very reminiscent of the old games, but also I don't know if you guys caught this, but a lot of their attacks are also call outs to other fighting games. So like some of the attacks was like one of the Ninja Turtles would jump and like start kicking through the air. It was like, oh man, this Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat, like straight up. And or they have the Shoryuken from Street Fighter, and he even like calls it out. He like yells Shoryuken. Like it's funny because
Yeah.
they're just having fun with it now, and they know again a game that's not taking itself too seriously is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, but at the same time they're making all these callbacks to all these other fighting arcade games that we love, and they're just playing through. And yeah, I really like it. I think every character is unique to play, and everyone wants to like playing it with friends. It's like, oh, I want to be Leo this time, or I want to be Mikey, and everyone's like switching it up because you want to try playing as everyone at some point. And another thing that it does a really good job at is when you add in more players. As you add in more players, it's not like the AI will automatically just add in more enemies. They scale up really well and like accordingly to how many players you have in, and they make you actually like work together and try to figure out how to best take out like some of the bosses especially. And yeah, I think it's such a fun game, really good. Like honestly, one of the top games right now that I've seen for multiplayer. It's really fun. I don't think it has longevity that a lot of multiplayers have right now, multiplayer games, but it's definitely up there as like, hey, you want a fun game to like play with your friends or family just at home, like definitely get this game.
Yeah, like we said, they're time fillers. They're good ones to play, especially six-player co-op. There's not many games that are six-player co-op, so if you got a big group of friends, you have even game nights, something good to play.
Yeah, yeah. Or like I remember playing the simulator with friends too, and there'd be more.
Yeah,
Before it was just four player, right? Just the turtles, and it'd be like, oh, as soon as someone dies, they gotta pass up the controller, right, to the
yeah,
next person, and you just keep playing and try to beat the games that way. And yeah, it just feels like that again. And again, for someone like me, it's nostalgic, but they did a really good job at still making something new, something fun.
yeah.
Yeah, not just a reskin of an old game. Uh, Up next, we actually have a kind of a horror game that I've actually seen quite a few playthroughs of this game online. It's the Quarry, and
Yeah.
I saw who was it, GDO3 TV. They were doing a full like walkthrough of the Quarry, and I was watching their walkthrough on YouTube. And dude, it looks like a solid horror game. I don't play a lot of these horror games, just because I'm a baby and I get scared. But look, like watching other people play through these games is like, okay,
Yeah.
like this one actually has like a solid story, and it's very dramatic, but it's also like it catches your attention in a really neat way. So having seen the trailer at first, I was like, ah, another typical horror game. But actually seeing someone play through it, it's like, oh man, like this actually like will grab your attention. It's almost like watching like a TV series just play out in front of you.
Yeah, watching a movie essentially. And it's a good watch on Twitch. I think I was watching XQC and he was playing with a few other people.
Uh,
Yeah, it was interesting. I
so it's a
like it.
multiplayer game.
I thought it was.
It's probably like
Was it co-op?
the I believe it might be co-op, like where someone else is controlling a different character, so they're seeing
Mhm.
something different than you are.
Oh yeah, it's like
Uh,
I think there's six
uh,
six counselors, and you all keep running into different types of monsters and stuff throughout. And
right.
so
I think
the whole thing is you're trying to escape.
yeah, and I think there's like a game that's similar like that. Like I forgot what they're called, like the Dark Anthem anthologies or something like that. On there's like a couple of them where like you can play co-op. You're two different characters, so like when someone sees something, you see something different, kind of thing. So someone might get a jump scare and you don't, and you're like, "Why are you scared? I didn't see anything," kind of thing. So it, like plays mind tricks. So I don't know if the quarry's like that.
Yeah,
but those games are fun.
that's so rude,
So,
man. I remember I played a game. I forgot what game it was. I played a game like that, and but you couldn't use like Discord or anything. You had to use the in-game chat. And I remember I was talking to one of my friends, and he was in another room, and he got locked in, and he had a jump scare or something, and I just hear him like yell. He's like ah, and then it cuts out, and then I couldn't talk to him anymore. I was like, oh
Phasmophobia.
man, what just happened to him? Like this is
I think
why I
that
don't play scary games.
yeah, I think that's Phasmophobia probably what you're playing.
Probably,
Phasmophobia.
yeah. It's so messed up, man. And I was just like, no, nope, nope, you can't play these. Like I'm here like on the edge of my seat and I'm trying to relax.
I like those games. They're
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the Quarry I think that it was one of the sole like actual horror games that we saw during Summer Games Fest that was like actually meant to be a horror game, not just like a zombie or demons and you're out there shooting them. Like this one looked like the sole horror game that really stood out
We
during.
need good horror games, so
Yeah, we
keep
do.
bringing them out. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think people love horror games. They're good to watch.
And there's a
Phasmo,
lot coming out.
yeah,
yeah, and
There's a
you,
lot they're
yeah,
announced.
and
So,
you mentioned Phasmophobia. Like for that was big for a really long time. People were actually really into that one, and yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
we talked about it on here.
Or
And another game that I actually enjoy playing. Again, it's not that scary, but it was Dead by Daylight.
yeah,
I think that one's
Sometimes you get jump scared.
yeah.
Not
Sometimes you
too
get
much,
jump
but
scared, but the that's just like the adrenaline rush of trying to get away from the whoever's playing the bad guy, right?
okay.
But yeah, so yeah, the Quarry. I mean, if you're into horror games, definitely one I recommend. Like this is gonna be at the top of the list for a lot of horror games for a while. Um, Up next, we got another shooter, and I think this is actually my favorite game from Summer Games Fest that showed up was Hyenas, and let me tell you why. I'm I felt like the artwork here was actually very reminiscent of Apex and kind of like cyberpunk. It was like that steampunk, almost like Borderlands type of artwork. And at the same time, it's a shooter. It's not a battle royale. It's an arena type shooter, and I just hearing the description of how the game is played and what the point of the game is, I'm really excited for it. It's 3-player teams, so it's three of you, and there's 5 teams per map, and you go in, and it's what people call a PvEVP type of game. So the whole purpose is to go into this level and steal items, and then go back and escape and take the items with you. So obviously, there's like an upgrade aspect to this game that they didn't really delve deep into. But the fact that you're trying to steal items that other players are trying to steal, and you have fights, and near the center of the arenas there's actually fights in zero gravity. I was like, man, that's actually, it feels brand new to me. Obviously, the 3-player teams and each character kind of having their own abilities aside from the guns feels very much like Apex Legends, but at the same time, there being a zero gravity aspect to it, there being an aspect of you're just trying to steal something and get away rather than wipe everyone out like a battle royale. Like I think it's gonna bring more strategy to the shooting game. Is gonna bring more sense of urgency to matches, and especially if you're trying to get like a specific item that you need, it's really gonna push you to do better in these games. And I like that it's 5 teams going in. I think when it comes to games like Valorant, when it's just like one team versus another, so many of these games, like early on, you just start getting rolled, and
yeah,
it sucks, man. Like they just start, like you're gonna lose the game from the get go just because they're so good already. But I feel like in when there's 5 teams playing, like you have a chance. Like especially
yeah,
when there's obviously it's PvEVP, there's the environment, and there's actually characters in the environment that are attacking as well. It gives you the opportunity to actually like sneak in maybe stealthily and steal what you're trying to steal and get out, and it just allows for different types of play style versus
yeah.
like being super aggressive all the time. So
Yeah, like
i
you said,
i think it
strategy wise,
yeah,
it's just
I think it's just a fresh take. I think we're we're getting this game was gonna get away from the whole battle royale aspect, and then we're gonna get away from the one team versus another aspect. So I don't know how competitive it can get, just because it's not really 1v1, or just like one team against another. But at the same time, I think it'll do well, and I'm excited for it. And it's made by Sega, so Sega's hit or miss,
Yeah,
honestly. But a Sega shooter, I mean, we'll see. I think they can pull it off. I think it'll be interesting to see.
yeah.
Yeah, like you said, they're trying to fix the problem of it being a battle royale and then also it not being just one team against one team. They're adding the environment aspect, which makes it different every time. So at least they're trying, trying to make some changes to because yeah, shooters right now are a little stale. It's
Yeah,
either you're playing a battle royale or you're playing, one team versus one team like a Valorant or
I
yeah,
wonder if it's gonna play
Halo.
like that one Tom Clancy game. What is it? Is that what's it called? The District or I forgot what it was called. There's like two of them. The Division.
the Division.
Vision.
There you
Yeah,
go. I wonder if it's gonna
Division
play
One,
like that
Division
where it's
Two.
like PvE, VP.
Yeah, I
So
think the Division. So I played the Division One, and it was very like the environment aspect of it. I mean, it was big environments. It was really
yeah.
big uh environments, big maps that you can get through and start playing through. But yeah, it'd be interesting if it's that type, because you can just like run into another team just out of the blue.
So I wonder if it's gonna play like that. It
Yeah,
probably not gonna play like similar. It's probably gonna be little. Well, it's gonna be smaller, obviously.
yeah,
But I just wonder how it's gonna play like maybe like Tarkov, where you can take gear in, and if you take gear in, you lose it.
yeah,
So I mean, it'll be interesting.
So every team probably gonna have their own different play style. Maybe there's a defensive play style. Maybe there's a
yeah,
aggressive play style where you're trying to defend against other teams or being the aggressor and getting all the stuff and taking them out.
yeah. And just having all that, and then an aspect of zero gravity, I think it's gonna be really. I,
Yeah,
I think it'll be fun, and it kind of opens up opportunities with what this game can be. With when I was watching the trailer, there was this one character that actually kind of looked like Bangalore from Apex, but she had this ability where she would make like these foam that you could use
like a
as a
bridge.
defensive wall, or you can actually use it to like run up to like a higher level. So
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool, just seeing that. And I think that was the ability that was showcased the most during the trailer. But they did show some other abilities, and they talked about them briefly in the like interview portions that they did after. So yeah, this is the one I'm most excited for. I really hope when it comes out, a lot of people play it. I'm gonna be playing it. So yeah, this is the one for me. Um, Up next, we want to talk about a game that actually came out during the Xbox Bethesda portion of Summer Games Fest. We just didn't get to it on our Xbox Bethesda episode. Was Starfield, and it's actually funny that we didn't get to it because Josh mentioned like, hey, this was actually one of like the big games that came out during that presentation. Josh, what do you think about Starfield?
Yeah, everyone was waiting to see gameplay, and then when they saw it, I think people were kind of like underwhelmed because it was empty.
This is
Like,
why I missed it on our episode. I was underwhelmed.
yeah,
I didn't really think much of it.
yeah, because I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's gonna be empty because it's in space, but I think people felt like they were gonna see a little bit more. But like when you play like the Fallout games, it's a lot of emptiness, like running through a whole bunch of empty land too. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. But I think thought that we were gonna see more action rather than walking and then looking at the environment. It looks kind of like No Man's Sky, but down like dumbed down.
yeah.
So that's what people weren't really too happy about it.
Yeah.
So
You mean No Man's Sky wasn't dumbed down enough?
yeah,
Hopefully, it's just the early look, and maybe they're adding a lot. Maybe a lot of these traders, the game's not really finished, so a lot of that stuff might, is still in the works.
and I believe they said that there's like 1,000 planets you can go to.
That's a lot.
So that's a and the one thing that they said that was bad too was that when you're going flying from planet to planet, it loads in, so you don't actually fly down to the planet. Like you go to the planet and then you go to a load screen and then it takes you in.
uh,
So you don't actually fly in like No Man's Sky.
so you don't
So
feel,
people weren't right.
yeah, you don't
You
feel
don't
like you're
feel it.
flying in.
Yeah.
Dang.
So people, I don't know anymore about Starfield. So we'll see. I know it's probably gonna be good still, but yeah, it's not gonna be like what people thought it was gonna be, I think.
Yeah, a lot of these games just have such like a like when you're talking about like 1,000 planets. I feel like it's such a lofty goal, and like they're envisioning this huge thing, and then us as the gamers, we hear about it and we get ourselves all hyped up for it, and then when they actually show us gameplay, there's always this slight disappointment. But I mean, you compared it to No Man's Sky. Remember when No Man's Sky first came out? Like a lot of people were not happy with the results. But we've talked about it on this podcast before where eventually No Man's Sky got to a position where it's actually a good game now. And
Yes.
like people are playing through it and they really enjoy playing it. And I've seen a lot of gameplay for No Man's Sky now and they actually figured it out and they got to a point where it's actually a really cool game. Right? Like especially if you're into that like the space stuff, like No Man's Sky is one of the games you need to play.
Yeah, and it
And
won awards for like the best community, right? I mean,
yeah.
best community or best content that they really provided content and not gave up on the game because it wasn't too popular when it came out.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it had potential when it first came out.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's finally like there. But they're still releasing new content, so I mean that's a good thing about No Man's Sky. Like if you bought it in the beginning,
when is it
you didn't
supposed
really
to
lose
when is this
out.
one supposed to come out? Starfield?
Starfield, they don't have a release date.
Okay, so
It's supposed to come with. It's probably gonna be early next year. I'm assuming.
it says 2023. It doesn't
Yeah,
say.
but since they had a release date like of this year, I think it was supposed to be November 11th was the date, right? The original one.
mhm,
So I think they pushed it just a couple months back. So it's probably gonna be early 2023
okay.
is what I think, but there's no official release date right now.
Well, that's a good thing. I think them pushing it back is a good thing. They're probably taking in some of this criticism, some of the what people are talking about, and hopefully it really changes their mind on what they need to do next. But yeah, another game that we missed during the Bethesda portion of Summer Games Fest was Redfall, and I don't know why we missed this because I was actually kind of excited for this one. It looks really cool. What do you guys think about Redfall?
That one looked to me like the best game that they showed.
Yeah,
It looked like a lot of fun. Like it's a well, I'm guessing it's gonna play like a four-player co-op, kind of like Left 4 Dead style, since you're fighting vampires and then there's boss
yeah.
vampires that they showed in the trailer.
Left for
So
Dead with vampires sounds
so
epic.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I'm hoping it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Obviously, they didn't show too much gameplay, just like some abilities. So, but it's gonna show that there's different classes. Each person does a different thing.
Yeah,
There's like a guy with like a cross, like he flips it, electricity comes out. So, I mean, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for this because, like you said, I love Left 4 Dead and this really wants Left 4 Dead. I forgot what was the name of the game that just came out. It was a
Back for Blood.
prequel back from. Oh my god, they blew it on that one. So
I,
they, we
yeah,
need.
yep,
Yeah, yeah. So this
it
definitely excites me.
yeah, Back for Blood's it's okay, but I think people didn't like that you couldn't be like the monster, like
Yeah,
in
they
the
kind of
story campaign. You can be
yeah
the monster, like, but it's like a different game mode, so it wasn't the same.
yeah. Hopefully there's co-op. There's multiplayer for this, much like Left 4 Dead co-op. I mean multiplayer. You ever play Left 4 Dead multiplayer, man? Those are some good times.
yep,
Some good times on there, man.
yeah. When it comes to Redfall, I mean, it's the same people that made Dishonored and Prey, which are actually two like really good games. I know a lot of people hated on Prey. I thought it was a really well made game. I just thought it was imbalanced at times, and I mean, with a game like Prey, it's kind of hard to balance it out. But Dishonored was a beautiful game. Like they really did that game justice. And coming from them, I think it's gonna look really good when it comes to the vampires and even like the story, the whatever story they do put together for this. I think it'll be fun. And again, it's gonna be one of those games that's gonna it's gonna bring you back to the Left 4 Dead days, right? Where you just get together. Hey, Friday nights, let's play this game. Just jump on and just play through the campaign and see how far we can get. So yeah, Redfall definitely watching out for that one. Supposed to come out in the first half of 2023. So looking forward to that one. Definitely. And that wraps up the games that we found interesting from Summer Games Fest. If there's any that we missed that you want to hear us talk about, please let us know in the comments. But yeah, and that leads us to our recommendations for the week. So this week, I'll start off the recommendations. Again, I'm a PlayStation player, so I am recommending, just because we know God of War 2 is going to come out soon. I recommend God of War 1 for two reasons. Right now, if you have PlayStation Plus, the bottom tier, like the very bottom tier, is free to download and play on PlayStation. So get God of War. And this isn't like the old God of War. This is the new one where you have your son and you're fighting against the instead of the, which gods are you fighting against? You're fighting against the Norse gods, right? So it's really cool. I mean, if you're into Norse mythology at all, even Greek mythology, I mean, it's straying away from Greek mythology because you basically already killed all of them in the first trilogy. But when it comes to Norse mythology, I think it's really interesting. It's really cool to see all that play out, that fantasy. And also, God of War was announced for PC, so definitely recommend it. If you don't have it, go and play that game. God of War is an awesome game. It's a fun game. There's no multiplayer aspect to it. It's just single player, but honestly, one of the best campaigns I've ever played. So, my recommendation for the week. How about you,
I
Josh?
guess, Josh.
Yeah. So mine, it's a game that's been out for a while. It was on PC and PlayStation, but now it's on Xbox and Switch now, which
Okay.
is Fall Guys.
Oh yeah,
So
Fall Guys.
yeah, so I mean, I played it on the PC a little bit, but
Okay.
I mean, so I'm a little bit more on the Xbox, so it's easy for me to load it up. It's fun. It's free to play now, so you don't have to pay for it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun when you play with other people too. And they're always updating the game with new maps, new game modes. So
Yep.
yeah, it's a fun play, even if you're playing by yourself. So
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because now that it's on Switch too, and you can just play with anyone, like it's a fun game to just have portable, to just play and just randomly, right? And I feel like a lot of times, especially when it comes to Switch games, if I'm playing in public, I want to play games that like someone won't like walk by and see, and there's like blood and guts everywhere, right? Like or like gunplay. Like uh seeing having this game available on Switch and really on all platforms now, and having crossplay enabled is really fun. And yeah, I mean, I had a ton of fun playing Fall Guys before. I got a couple victories, so and yeah, it's a fun game, especially if you're just with friends, like just playing through, want to hang out and just play something dumb. Like Fall Guys is the way to go. How about you, Serge?
Uh, yeah, for me, I haven't been playing too much, but I guess I've been playing a lot of Clash Royale.
Clash
So
Royale.
yeah, I guess play some Clash Royale. It's always a good game to
Yeah.
play on your phone, the strategy game.
So I
But
haven't played Clash Royale in years. Is there
yeah, I
any
started
like
playing again.
is there any like anything new really? Like what's new about it, especially like in the
Not
last few
not
months maybe?
much, not much new, but I don't know. I always enjoyed Clash Royale, and it's good to always jump into it every now and then. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
It's such an easy game to play. Play one game, 3 minutes, and on to your day. In between lunch or whatever, just pop it open and play some games.
yeah. There's like new cards probably
Yeah.
since you've played, but they don't really update it too much with new cards. I know they're gonna release like a summer update soon
Okay.
with like banners, like where you fight people. There's like a banner that pops up now.
Oh, okay.
And you can choose like your own like avatar, like Hog Rider, or if you use like Mega Knight, you put Mega Knight in there. So they're still updating the game. So I mean, it's fun.
Cool. And there you go. Those are our recommendations for the week. I want to give a quick update on our St. Jude fundraiser. Our goal was $200, and we're actually now at $165 that we've already made for St. Jude's fundraiser. So thank you everyone that's donated. That's awesome. We still have 2 weeks left of this fundraiser, so the fact that we're more than 3/4 of the way there is inspiring. And yeah, we're doing it for the kids. Again, St. Jude's is a children's cancer research hospital. None of the children or families that are helped there pay a single dime. It's all provided for them. So yeah, I really care about this fundraiser, and I love that we've been able to do this much for them. So thank you everyone that's donated. And last but not least, I want to talk about our other Higher Passion podcasts. Make sure you're checking out Sports Dogs, Heroes and Mutants. We're getting into Miss Marvel. We're going to get into The Boys soon. And obviously, with the Thor movie around the corner, we're going to be getting into that. Sports Dogs, they just wrapped up the NBA Finals. That was really cool to see their take on everything, especially now heading into coming up NBA draft. And obviously, the Major League Baseball is so much fun going on right now. So yeah, check them out. Check out the Sports Dogs, and check out all our other Higher Passion podcasts. If you just look at Higher Passion on YouTube, we're putting all our other podcasts on there. So yeah, I'll put the descriptions for all of these in the comments or in the description. I'll put the links for all of these, and I'll also put the link to our St. Jude fundraiser if you want to donate. And yeah, so I just want to thank everyone for joining, and make sure to like and subscribe. GG's.
GG's, everybody.
Peace.